Darvin Ham follows through on adjustments for the Lakers' rotation. Coach Prime wants his bling back, and James Harden arrives to watch the Clippers, but I don't know if I'd call it welcoming. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So it is November 1st, 2023, and the rent is too damn high, but we will always try to make ourselves in a better place by talking LA sports. If you like being in the know about LA, well then click and clack the like button. Click and clack the subscribe button. There's the notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. By all means, comment, because it's always good when you're talking LA. So before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Last night, Paul George scores 27 points, and the Clippers defeated Orlando 118-102. Four different players for the LA Kings scored last night. Quentin Byfield added 2 assists. Kings defeated Toronto 4-1. You know, the Kings have won their first 4 games on the road. Pretty damn impressive, I gotta tell you. Meanwhile, today, the Clippers are playing the Lakers at 7. The Clippers have an 11-game winning streak against the Lakers. James Harden is not expected to play tonight. Rui Hachimura is very doubtful for the Lakers. But let's get to the news. Darvin Ham appears to have made the first change in the Lakers' rotation. In Monday's win versus Orlando, he played a 2-big lineup. Now, we had talked about this before the season began, how Anthony Davis would prefer not to play the 5, the center, playing underneath the rim, getting blasted, getting injured. Made sense, especially when the Lakers went out and signed multiple big men in the offseason. And yet, the starting lineup up until a couple of days ago always had Davis at the center and none of these 2 backup centers trying to help him out. Now you have Anthony Davis out there against Orlando a couple of days ago. Centers Christian Wood played 27 minutes. Jackson Hayes played 10 more. Wood, by the way, played almost the entire fourth quarter alongside Davis. Quote, "They're just 2 big presences on the defensive glass. Christian gets some of the toughest defensive rebounds I've ever seen anyone get," unquote. That's from Darvin Ham talking with The Athletic. Another thing that might be a permanent adjustment is adding a couple of minutes to the 30-minute limit on LeBron James. It was never supposed to be a hard and fast rule. It was supposed to be a goal. The man just played 33 minutes against Orlando. Is that really the end of the world if he breaks that barrier by 3 minutes? Really? I don't see it. Now, the Lakers could still play a jumbo front court and limit LeBron's minutes in the future. For example, we mentioned Hachimura is not playing tonight. He's pretty big. Jared Vanderbilt as well. So theoretically, one way or another, the Lakers' depth could wind up manifesting in the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, know this. A front court of Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Christian Wood have outscored opponents by 40 points in the 28 minutes that they have simultaneously been on the court. So it's a pretty effective idea that might be played more often in the coming weeks. Other adjustments that I don't believe will last. Austin Reeves did not finish the game against Orlando. This is 2 times in a row where Reeves was on the bench for much, if not all, of the fourth quarter. Something tells me Reeves is going to shoot his way out of the slump. You may have never expected to hear this, especially after his first stint with the Lakers, but D'Angelo Russell is becoming a mentor to his teammates. At least one of them, Cam Reddish. Reddish is struggling. He's averaging just 2.8 points per game in 12 minutes total for the season. Darvin Ham actually tabbed Reddish in the rotation over Max Christie. Christie had a terrific summer league in a preseason. He chose Reddish because of the height, because Reddish has actually played a couple more years, obviously, than Max Christie. But with the struggle, Reddish is leaning on Russell for help. Quote, "We talk about the game, the ways to score, ways to get involved, impact the game in any way possible," unquote. The first college football playoff rankings were released on Tuesday. UCLA is 19th. Now, I'd love to talk more about that and about how UCLA has been slowly putting together a complete team during the course of the year. But Deion Sanders grabs all the headlines. He wants his jewelry back. And he is insinuating that the Rose Bowl is complicit in the alleged theft last weekend when Colorado came to UCLA. Quote, "I think that's a travesty. This is the Rose Bowl. They said the granddaddy of them all, right? I'm sure granddaddy had some money. Grandpa should have some money to give these kids," unquote. Well, you know what Grandpa would do? He would tell you to lock your jewelry up in a damn safe. Have you considered that, Coach Prime? Granddaddy would tell you to go put it in a safe. Granddaddy would not tell you that you should wear said bling in front of 70,000 potential suspects. Have you considered those two possibilities? See, if Grandpa has money for a reason. He actually learned things. I'm not even a Coach Deion Sanders hater. I like the guy. But you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And in this case, the stupid prize is you go home without your jewelry. You're lucky he went to the Rose Bowl, for Pete's sakes. Could you imagine if Colorado had played that game at USC, at the Coliseum? You're lucky the entire roster didn't get robbed at gunpoint the moment the bus door opened. Common sense, dude. That's how Grandpa has money. That's how Grandpa has jewelry. And that's why you lost jewelry. Now, we've clowned the Trojans, by the way, for not playing any defense. But we also have to hold UCLA accountable for not taking care of the football. Bruins quarterbacks have thrown 12 interceptions this year. Only 5 teams in college football have thrown more picks. The blockbuster trade for James Harden is not official yet, but Harden and PJ Tucker arrived in LA on Tuesday, and they were welcomed by players and management. And when I say welcomed by the players, I mean the only guy who stood up was Russell Westbrook, who appeared to give the most awkward one-armed hug I've ever seen since I've seen a bunch of chicks hang out at a party. You ever see those one-armed hugs between girls? It's like they're pretending to be nice, but they both have the facial expression like they want to call each other a bitch. Yeah. Now, I can't tell you that I know that that's the case here. I can't. That's just a vibe it looks like. Look at the clip. You tell me otherwise. Coach Tyronn Lue, by the way, said he couldn't comment on the deal because it's not official yet. As for the big trade, I gave you my thoughts on the deal yesterday, but the LA Times, they gathered a few scouts, a few team officials from the NBA to ask what they thought about it. And I think the most positive way to look at the trade came from a scout who said the third best defender on the floor is now going to have to either guard Paul George or Harden. That's a totally fair assessment. Absolutely. That is a great optimistic look at it. Yet another exec said he didn't, quote, want to call it a desperate move, but I think they're feeling the pressure, unquote. So definite risk in that deal. I mentioned where UCLA is ranked in the college football playoffs. They're 19th. The Trojans are ranked 20th. Put simply, neither one of them have a legit shot at getting to the college football playoffs. And I think reasonable people understand that because it's a 4-team tournament. Both UCLA and USC have 2 losses. Does anybody imagine the 18 teams ahead of them getting more than 2 losses? I don't. You're asking a lot of teams to faceplant. So I don't have a bone to pick with where the Bruins or Trojans landed. Where I do have a bone to pick is with CBSSports.com's Barrett Sally. Look, this guy's been talking. I knew him back when he covered just the SEC. He's an SEC homer. Doesn't care particularly for anything on the West Coast. So he takes a lot of glee in watching USC struggle. And he led his column on the so-called winners and losers of the college football playoff rankings, not with a breakdown of who could sneak into the playoff picture, not with can any Pac-12 team make a show in the final year. Remember, Washington is 5th in this rankings. No, he starts by crapping on USC. Dude cannot stop turding all over the defense. Shouldn't even be ranked, he's complaining. What a travesty. The Trojans are ranked. To which I say, they're not going to the playoffs, jackass. Lighten up. Shut the hell up. So many things to talk about. You had a list of 25 teams, and you had to go all the way down to 20 to get your complaining out. Just kiss Nick Saban's behind and go about your life, right? Meanwhile, in real news for the Trojans, safety Zion Branch is out for the year. He was injured during the Cal game and had a procedure done yesterday morning. Other details weren't included, which is odd because why not say it? He's done for the year. There's no need to be vague. There is mutual interest between the Dodgers and Jason Hayward coming back with a new contract. This is according to the LA Times. Former Major League Baseball general manager Jim Bowden listed the top 40 free agents as he sees it. He suggested that the Dodgers should be in on 6 of the top 9 and 14 on the entire list. Now, I'm not going to list all 14 players. You can pretty much guess who some of them are. And he did not predict who the Dodgers would sign, but there was a part that was very interesting to me. He believes that Angels superstar, now free agent, Shohei Ohtani, will command a contract of 10 years, $477 million, with incentives that would obviously break the $500 million threshold. So the contract itself, the base salary, not at $500 million. People were predicting something in the neighborhood of 550 to 600 million. Right-handed pitcher Tyler Sear has cleared late waivers, was sent to AAA Oklahoma City. Former Rams quarterback John Wolford had multiple suitors, which gives us hope for all of us when we are ugly and single, wouldn't you say? If you recall yesterday, I mentioned how the Rams wanted to sign their former backup off the Tampa Bay practice squad. Look, guys, I admit my mistakes here. I said it was done. The report I read was wrong. He is staying with Tampa Bay. And I have rarely been so happy to be wrong in my life. I hate being wrong. I got an ego just like anybody else. I totally get that. I hate being proven wrong. But for being proven wrong on this one, I want to do about 5,000 cartwheels. The Bucks blocked the move by adding Wolford to their 53-man roster. And by the way, it apparently wasn't just the Rams who had interest. Minnesota allegedly did. So instead of John Wolford, LA signs Dresser Wynn to a team. Dresser Wynn. He was an undrafted free agent out of the University of Tennessee Martin, played in the preseason. And if you think I saw him play, that would be a hell no, I didn't see him play. But I would rather see Dresser win than John Wolford. I would rather see Dresser win, Steve win, Win Diesel. It doesn't matter. John Wolford is terrible at his job. And you might wonder why I have this thing against John Wolford. It's because I spent my hard-earned cash to watch the defending Super Bowl champs play Arizona last year, only it really wasn't the defending Super Bowl champs, it was John Wolford. John Wolford, under center, getting out quarterbacked that day by known scrub Colt McCoy. In other words, John Wolford couldn't figure out the Arizona Cardinals defense. And we wanted him under center? No. You might have wondered to the guy next to you in the weed dispensary if Stetson Bennett might be coming back to the Rams. Hate to be a buzzkill, but no. McVay said the 4th round pick, the quarterback that they got from Georgia, It's unlikely Bennett would return to the team at all this year. We don't even know why the dude is out. The Rams are being super secretive about that, which is weird. The Rams and Chargers did not make any deals on Tuesday, which is the NFL trade deadline day, which, by the way, probably a good idea for the Rams. There were ideas that maybe the Rams might put offensive lineman Joe Noteboom on the block. Recall, Noteboom lost the left tackle job. So why pay him all that money to sit on the bench? Turns out Rob Havenstein has a calf injury, so Noteboom is going to take over on the offensive line. Lucky break. Longtime viewers of this program know that I believe Chargers' Austin Eckler is one of the most overrated players in the NFL. He's never rushed for over 1,000 yards in a season, and yet he wants to be paid like one of the game's elite players. So he held out. And then the Chargers tried to prove the point, saying, look, dude, if you're so great, why don't you just try and make a trade with another team and come back to us? He could not find a single acceptable suitor. So I bring this up because the Bolts have added a new offensive coordinator, as you all know, in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore then made the running game a priority. And Austin Eckler still can't run. Austin Eckler can't run. The Chargers took a 24-7 lead at the half, so you're thinking, okay, run the ball, kill the clock, go home. The Chargers rushed for just 25 yards in the second half. 6 running plays went for 0 or negative yards. There's a stat from a group called True Media called rushing success rate. Now, if I tried to explain it to you, you'd probably punch me in the throat and I'd sound worse than I already do right now. The point is, the Chargers are the worst in the league at success in running plays. A running game would have gotten them out of Jacksonville last year in the playoffs with a win. They had that big lead. They could have killed the clock. They don't have a running game. They couldn't advance. A running game would have kept the Raiders from almost upsetting the Chargers a couple of weeks ago. Do you see my problem now? The Chargers can't run. Austin Eckler thinks he's an elite player, and he's not. The Chargers also waived tight end Trey McKitty, who was drafted in the 3rd round just 2 years ago. The dude had 16 receptions in his career, but none this year. He was relegated to special teams. But you let me know what you think's going on in the comments thread. Talk to me about James Harden's grand arrival in LA, or if Darvin Ham is starting to make the right calls with this new roster that quickly. Or for that matter, maybe you could all help us find the thieves of Coach Prime's bling. And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.